Dreadnaught, we're back at you. This is Arkansas Tattoo Law Part 2.
Okay. So, do you remember his name?
Representative Nate Bell.
Okay. Basically, there's a law being proposed that would no longer... Okay.
Should we just start over again?
Yeah.
Dreadnaught back at you. We were just taking some look at some of our local laws, and we came up with this
local
subject.
dumb laws.
Yeah, extremely dumb. But you basically aren't as free as you thought you were, and this is basically focusing on laws that are taking away rights that someone really shouldn't be able to tell you that you can or can't do whatever act that they are trying to outlaw.
Mainly is an observation of people putting their feet in their mouth, and I said feet, not foot. Feet.
Both.
So Arkansas passed a law, or there's a law banning tattoos and body modifications and things of that nature. Now, Oklahoma used to have this law. Actually, I think they just repealed it a little while ago. But you think that in this day and age, you know, someone would, out of everything going on, wars and Jesus Christ, take your pick, priests and little boys, out of everything you could argue about, tattoos, really? And I'm not saying that because I have tattoos and piercings. I'm saying that because I just don't even get why a whole bunch of middle-aged people sitting around the room, I don't even get where it would come from.
I don't have any tattoos or piercings, and I don't think you should be able to tell someone that they can or can't do something to
Smoking.
the outward appearance of their body.
I'll put it with smoking. I don't smoke. I've never smoked. I don't care if people smoke. That's not my business. As long as you put your butts up and I ain't got to look at them everywhere and you don't blow the smoke in my face, the hell do I care if you smoke or not? But one person made a big deal about it, and so everybody had to deal with it. It's retarded, man. But, so here's some interesting facts about this. So the law went up, and the woman, you got the info on it.
Yeah, it was proposed by a Senator Missy Irvin. She's a Republican, a staunch Republican.
Never trust a grown woman named Missy.
Although, keep in mind, she's a staunch advocate of small government not invading your personal or private
Apparently
lives.
not.
But the bill prohibits something called scarification and dermal implants.
Wait, let me pause you real quick. Here's another problem. All these people screaming small government, I don't think they get the definition of what they're saying. You know, it's like a little kid saying he don't want to follow rules. He don't want to follow rules that they apply to him. But the rules that apply to everybody else can affect people. Oh, that's great. As long as it don't apply to them. That's,
Of course.
you know, that's that twisting of words. A lot of times y'all can see me shake my head. It's very frustrating, but go ahead.
As I read on, you'll understand why. The reason that they gave for this is fear of staph infection, and there's no actual evidence that this will increase the rate of staph infection. Matter of fact, the scarification that this refers to is actually only as deep as tattoo ink goes, and it actually heals up much faster than any body piercing,
Tattoo
like an
artists.
earring.
Tattoo artists and piercers have to go through so much stuff to even get their license and everything, man. The health department's all over them.
And this is actually one of the more, if you're going to apply the word safe to some kind of body modification, this is one of the safer ones to do. And
at the end of the day, these people, these super Christian, super king, super happy zombies want everybody to look like each other, you know what I mean? That's bottom line.
Start fresh here. Okay, Dreadnaught, this is the Arkansas Tattoo Law Part 2. Yeah, one of the representatives, Nate Bell, who came out against it, which we'll get to Nate Bell later. He's an interesting character. He's considered the most conservative member of the General Assembly, but he said the bottom line is, I don't think it's the proper role of government to tell people what they can and cannot do with their own bodies.
Okay. So he pretty much, there's a law being proposed in Arkansas Senate to outlaw certain forms of body modification. The woman who apparently proposed it to begin with really didn't do her own research, because most of the things she's talking about have nothing to do with actual modification.
It was tongue splitting, like with
like she
people.
yeah. And if people
that's
want
your
to do
thing,
that,
go for it.
But that's not a piercing. That's not a tattoo. All that shouldn't be lumped into. Yeah, I showed my tattoo office. You know, everybody else shouldn't be lumped into that, and it's not her concern anyway. Now, what's interesting about young Mr. Bell there is, even though, say that quote again, did he say it?
The bottom line is, I don't think it's the proper role of the government to tell people what they can and cannot do with their own bodies.
Here's where that's interesting. Because young Master Bell there also is a staunch believer in abortion.
Not
having abortion. He's against abortion. How can you in one breath say the government shouldn't tell people what to do, and in the next breath be like, oh, you can't? I mean, I'm not an abortion supporter, but fuck, I'm not getting pregnant anytime soon, so it's not my business. So for him to just talk out of both sides of his mouth like that, that is crazy, dude. And what is going on with Arkansas? Dude, we got some... In the course of the last year and a half, we've had one senator say something about black people enjoy slavery and they missed it.
We had Bill Clinton, too.
No, Bill Clinton hasn't said anything stupid yet. No, this last year and a half.
Outside.
Bill, we have another senator, and today is October the 3rd. So the shooting has just happened in Washington. We have a senator who has been tweeting shit, basically blaming Democrats about it. Republican Congressman, Tim Griffin. Why? What's the point? What does political anything have to do with this? This has to do with people being pissed off and scared. And they're pissed off and scared because people are working on their fears. People are... Religion, politics, everything else is meant to make you scared. It's meant to scare you into doing what people want you to do. You give up your rights. You give up everything else. At the same breath, you're screaming, my right as an American to do this, this, and this, and this. The minute you let these people get control of you, you've given up that right.
Don't they also say that the things that you're not supposed to talk about at a dinner conversation is like religion, politics, and there's probably one other one. But shouldn't that be things that we do discuss just so it's kind of touch and see where other people are at on their thoughts and beliefs?
Well, I've heard that rule on like on ships and things like that you don't discuss those things, but that's mainly because it's gonna turn volatile.
Yeah,
it's going.
You can't really go anywhere to blow off some
steam, man. It's going bad. You know.
Well, why do they have to be heated conversations?
Because
why cannot we have a?
You always got back to the 5 people rule.
A dialect.
3 or 4 people can have a dialect. You get past like what's again? I hate to keep misquoting people, but a human being is intelligent. You can tell a human being anything. A group of human beings are dumb, reactionary, scary sons of bitches. With that said, after you get past 3 or 4 people talking about anything, somebody's going to wig out. Somebody's going to react wrong. It's just somebody's going to file charges of harassment. Something's going to happen.
But on the other hand, if you get offended that easily by what someone says, you need to take a look at yourself. Like, why can I not hear this?
That will work, but here's the problem with that. Too many people fit that category. And so they're in a comfort zone because everybody else around them is reacting the same way they are. That sanity, that common sense is very limited. Very few people have that to know I'm not gonna smack a cop in the face because you know what? I'm finna get tased and fucking shot.
They'll probably shoot you for that.
But somewhere right now, the fact that I just said it, somewhere right now in America, some jackass just smacked a cop.
Probably.
Anything you can think of, the dumbest thing you can think of, somewhere in the world, some son of a bitch is doing it.
Yeah. That is very true. Anything you can think of. Google BME Pain Olympics. Anything you can think of.
That shit's horrible.
The world has turned into a nutty place. But what drives someone to do that? All these weird things.
Attention. At the end of the day, I wish, and I think that's another problem, is that everybody tries to make it out to be all these people are being, they're being religious. They're either a religious zealot or they're trying to show their political appreciations or blah, blah, blah. No. Sometimes people are just fucking nuts. I'm sorry. It's the truth. Everybody ain't that passionate. Sometimes motherfuckers just want to be on TV. They just want a book deal. They just want you to talk about them. That is it.
So much
and we keep feeding into that.
So much so, in fact, that they'll put on some goofy hair color and they'll take an AR-15 inside of a movie theater. They want to be on TV that much. Those people's lives aren't as important as their 15 minutes of fame.
15 minutes? Dude, at this rate, at this time in history, this ain't even 15 minutes. You're
immortal.
Like I said, Zimmerman is going down in history. That is a part of the American vocabulary now.
Yeah.
not on the violent shit, but Miley Cyrus twerking. Motherfuckers been twerking for like 5 years. All of a sudden, but my point being,
And now you're surprised?
now it's in Webster's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The right person does it, it becomes, and we gotta stop doing that shit. We gotta stop encouraging